Good morning and happy middle of July. I think we're just about there. And I want to wish you a happy summer. I hope that you are enjoying your summer. I hope that this first part of the summer, I think for some of us it's been about 6 weeks, has been filled with pool time, relaxation, maybe vacations, fun with friends, lots of ice cream. So I hope you're enjoying your summer. But as we get to the middle of July, and we're just about there, we do need to start thinking about the next school year. But I only like to do a little bit at a time. I'm not a big proponent of having kids do lots of summer prep. I love for you to have your summer and to be able to rest, relax a little bit. But at the same time, once we reach July, we do want to get ready for the new school year. So just bear with me for a little bit each week. We want to especially help the new students at Frederick East acclimate to the writing program, which is IEW. That stands for Institute for Excellence in Writing. And this is a program that has been around 20 plus years. I'm not exactly sure of the length. I started working for them several years ago. I've been registered and certified with their program. I work at some of their homeschool events, and I have taught writing classes independent of them, but IEW writing classes nonetheless. I've been teaching IEW now for almost 12 years. And in my opinion, it is one of the best writing programs that's out there because it helps to take away the bad stigma of writing. And so I want to help you get ready for the new school year. And so we're going to do little videos. They're not going to be very long. I'm going to go through an example of something, then give you a little bit of homework. I'm going to try to make the topics interesting. This week we're looking at starfish and seahorses. We're going to use summer topics. So or vacations. If you went to an interesting place for vacation, maybe I'll highlight your vacation. I also got to see some really cool glaciers this summer, and so those will pop in as some of our writing topics. So I wanted to make it as interesting as possible. I also want you to do this, and so I'm giving you some incentives to get this done each week instead of waiting until the week before school starts. So I've been collecting some prizes. We have some folks that like to give us prizes from Chick-fil-A, Dairy Queen. I work for Lucy's Consignment, and so I often get really cool prizes from there. And so each week when you complete an assignment or watch a video, you just need to let me know that you watched the video, but then you need to send me the assignment, and I will enter your name every time for completing those things. Then at the beginning of the school year, we'll be giving those prizes away on the first day of school. So it's also something to look forward to. Don't worry if you're not going to be there the first day of school. We will keep it for you and give it to you when you get back. I know a lot of people do vacations on that day. So what I want to do, IEW is a wonderful program that helps students know the structure of writing. It stands for Institute of Excellence in Writing, and it was started more than 20 years ago. After working with them for so long, I've become even more convinced that it is a great program. So I've taught writing for a number of years, and I know that students are often scared to get started, but we're just going to jump right in here in a couple of minutes. I hope that parents are watching as well. If they're not, maybe go bug your mom or dad and tell them they need to watch too, because if they watch this and they learn the program, they're going to feel a lot more equipped during the school year. So the way that IEW is broken down, and this is probably the boring part for the kids, so you can tune out for just 1 second, but parents, the way that it's broken down is that IEW breaks it into 9 units, and you're going to see those 9 units every single year, from 2nd grade all the way through high school. High school, we refine a little bit and skip some of the units, but every year you're going to see these. For 3rd grade through 7th grade, and probably 8th grade for the upcoming school year, there's a specific writing packet, and I write all of those writing packets. And so all of the assignments are prepared so that they match up with your child's history and sometimes their science. So you'll see common topics in those. Those writing packets are currently in the works to match up with your Mystery of History, Volume 3. Next year, obviously, for Volume 4. But for this summer, we're doing lots of fun topics, and we're going to jump right in. If you did not print out the materials that were attached to the email or are attached on the website, I would ask you to pause the video and go print those materials out. There are 3 pages, and each child that is doing the writing needs a page of their own. So there's starfish, seahorses, and then there's a page called Structure Video 1. And so we're going to talk about starfish. The seahorses will be homework, and then the structure I'll talk about kind of as a precursor to next week's video. But we're starting with Unit 1. Remember I said there's 9 units. I think I have that number of fingers. 9 units. We're starting with Unit 1. We're going to, for younger kids, they're going to be on that for quite a while in the fall. For our older kids, you're going to skip right through that pretty quickly. But Unit 1 is all about what's called keyword outlines. And it is exactly what it says it is. It is an outline that just uses keywords, not complete sentences. So get rid of that notion. But it just uses words. And where do you get the words from? You get the words from what's called a source document. So a couple of things, if you're taking notes, and parents, it might behoove you to take some notes just so that you're familiar with the lingo. But what you will see in a lot of your child's writing this fall is what's called source documents. This is where they will read and take their keyword outlines from. Now, older students will obviously begin to do their own research, and those are going to be their source documents. But a source document is something that I've prepared or someone else at IEW has prepared that the child uses for their writing. And so one of the things that's really important, don't throw a kid out in the middle of the ocean without the tools that they need. Often we tell a child, well, why don't you write about starfish? And they don't know where to go or what to look for. Well, then we go to the library and we get them this big book. And, or maybe it's not even a big book, it could even be a kid's book. But it's got lots of words and lots of pictures, and they maybe copy down the first few things from the first page of the book. Well, that's what we want to discourage. So I'm going to start with most kids in K to 6th grade. They're going to start with a source document that I've prepared that gives them the information I think they need to know for starfish. Then as they get older, they learn how to use those bigger books, and they learn how to pull out the information that they need. So I'd like for you to pull out that source document called Starfish, and it has Lesson 1, Video 1 at the top. And I would ask each student that is doing this, so if there are multiple students in a family, please put your name at the top of the paper. Also, please put your grade. This is practice for when we get to the fall. Right underneath the Lesson 1, Video 1, put your name. And right underneath your name, put your grade. I don't care about the dates this summer, but in the fall you'll need to include your date. So now you're getting a little practice on the FAC heading. So we're going to read this together. Once you put your name and your grade underneath Lesson 1, Video 1, we're going to read Starfish together. You're always going to read it 2 times. The first time you're just going to read it probably to see if Mrs. Jernigan made any mistakes. And if you find a mistake, you get an extra ticket. And I make a lot of mistakes. So if you find a mistake or something that's factually incorrect, let me know. I'll give you an extra ticket. The second time we read it, you're going to underline things. So the first time, do not pick up a pencil. You're just reading. The second time, you're going to pick up your pencil and underline anything that you think is important. Not everything, though. Just the things that you think are really important. So I'm going to read it out loud, and then I'm going to read it again, and I want you to underline some things. Starfish are shaped like stars and are a very popular type echinoderm found in our oceans. There are about 1,500 species of starfish and are found in all the world's oceans, from colder to warmer temperatures. These beautiful fish are disc-shaped and have 5 arms, though some could have more arms. Colors can vary from red to orange to blue, gray, or brown. The most interesting thing about these creatures is that they can regenerate damaged parts or lost arms, and they can shed arms if they are in battle as a means of defending themselves. The various species of starfish can live from 10 years to 34 years and will eat microalgae, sponges, bivalves, snails, and other small animals. Starfish are beautiful creatures and are often found in stories from around the world. Okay, so we've read through the first time. There should always be a first reading and there should always be a second reading. Like I said, sometimes you're going to find errors, or you might have found something that you kind of want to put a question mark beside so that you can check that information. And that's always a good thing to do. But on your second reading through, that's when you want to pick up your pencil, a highlighter. So you might want to have some highlighters in your backpack this fall. But you're going to take your highlighter and you're only going to highlight words, not whole sentences. So when you send this back to me, notice your keyword outline is at the bottom. I'm going to see what you highlighted up here. So do not highlight whole sentences, just highlight keywords, things that you think are important and they could be different from your sibling. Starfish are shaped like stars and are a very, very popular type echinoderm found in our oceans. Now, if this were me, I would have probably highlighted, I'm going to give you some help on the first couple, I would have probably highlighted stars, and I probably would highlight echinoderm, and I might even put a question mark beside that to look it up. Looking up a dictionary definition is always a positive thing, and your teacher will be impressed. There are about 1,500 species of starfish and are found in all the world's oceans. And there's something grammatically wrong with that, so somebody might want to fix it and send me the information so I can give you a ticket. But I would probably highlight 1,500 species. I would probably highlight all and oceans. So there I've got, just a few words. From colder to warmer waters, doesn't matter. I've just said all of the world's oceans, so that means they can be in any waters. These beautiful fish are disc-shaped and have 5 arms, though some could have more arms. So I probably would highlight disc-shaped, 5 arms, and maybe more arms. Colors can vary from red to orange to blue, gray, or brown. So I might highlight each of the colors, red, orange, blue, gray, and brown. The most interesting things about these creatures is that they can regenerate damaged parts or lost arms, and they can shed arms if they are in battle as a means of defending themselves. So maybe I would highlight regenerate, damaged, arms, maybe even shed and defending, something like that, maybe a few more in that. Now I'm going to let you do the last couple of sentences by yourself. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to finish those out with highlighting. And once you've done that, then turn the video back on and we are going to create our first keyword outline. So remember, this is some of our vocabulary. And you might want to have a sheet right in the front. You should maybe keep a notebook this summer so that in the fall, if I were to say to you, why didn't you send me any of the work? And you might say, oh, well, I gave it all to my mom, but you've already got it in a notebook, so you just show me your notebook, right? So this might be a good first sheet with our vocabulary on it. But on the second sheet, we're going to do our keyword outline. So I'm going to let you pause, finish, and then you're going to come back. All right, we are going to create our first keyword outline together, and you will notice that there is a Roman numeral 1 right there at the bottom under the words keyword outline. In Roman numeral 1, we are going to create what is called our topic sentence. And 6th and above are definitely doing this. 4th and 5th graders are learning how to do those topic sentences. But it's just an overall telling us what the paragraph is about. So I want to pull a keyword, some keywords for my topic sentence. And that's probably going to be from the first sentence. So I would probably use starfish, and I'm going to put a comma between each word, and I'm only, if you're in 3rd through 5th grade, I'm only going to use 3 or 4 words per line. That's the rule. If you're in 5th-ish to 6th grade, you can probably use 5 or 6, and then above you can go as high as 7 words on your keyword outline. They should not be sentences. I'm going to say that 1,000 times, but they should not be sentences, keywords only. So starfish, and then I'm going to write this big long word that I have here, ECHINODERN. Now, if you are one of those people that looked up the dictionary definition of this, and you want to let me know that so that you can get an extra ticket in the bucket, feel free. But you could also then include what that means. Okay, now this is the topic right here. So I don't know if you can see this, but that's your topic. We'll refer to that more later on. Then I think I gave us 7 spots because I'm going to assume that most of you watching are 6th and above. 6th graders and above are required to do this. Everybody else can certainly do it to get a refresher. Our new folks in 3rd and above can certainly do this to learn a little bit. But perhaps maybe you just want to do the first few videos, not necessarily some that'll come later on, but it'll just give you a little familiarity with the program. So anyway, you're looking at, now we're probably looking at our second sentence, and if we were in a classroom situation, I would say, what did you put for your next one? But since we're not, I have to do all of this. So I would probably look down and I would see, I probably highlighted 1500, all the world's oceans, and so I want to put something like that, 1500 species, all oceans. Now, if you're counting and you're in 3rd grade, you might say, well, Mrs. Jernigan, you used an extra word and I'm only supposed to use 3. That is correct. But let me just tell you, numbers do not count. Symbols do not count, and pictures do not count. So for oceans, if you had a lot of words, you could have put water to represent the oceans, if you would remember what that meant. So remember, numbers, symbols do not count, and you can insert those as well. All right, let's keep moving on. These beautiful fish are disc-shaped and have 5 arms, though some could have more. So I am going to put disc, shape, 5, and maybe I will draw an arm, and you may not laugh at my drawings. I'm not a very good artist, but this is arm. Now if you wanted to write arm, you certainly could write it. 5 arms. But they could have more, so I could put a plus sign for more. And that's going to help me remember, whatever's going to help you remember, it's going to help me remember to mention that they could have more. Colors can vary from red, orange, blue, gray, or brown, so I'm going to write those. Red, orange, blue, gray, and I'm going to have to sneak down here to get that last one in, but I've put all the colors. Then, the most interesting thing about these creatures is that they can regenerate damaged or parts of lost arms. They can shed arms. So I definitely want to mention something about that. Regenerate. If I don't know what that means, then I need to go talk to Mom, open a dictionary, ask who are those Alexa or your computer generated voice people that you can ask them what it means. What does regenerate means? It means to grow again. So some animals have that capability of regrowing. I believe in the human body, the liver has the ability to regenerate, especially if a person has a transplant done, it can regenerate. So I'm going to put regenerate, but I've got a big sentence here and I don't want all this information. I can put regenerate damage, arms, and that might help me remember. I could put a little bit more if I do some pictures, so you're welcome to do that. They can live from 10 years to 34 years, so I'm going to put 10 to 34 years. Now, because I've abbreviated, this whole thing doesn't even count as words. So I could use the rest of my space to talk about what they eat. They eat microalgae, sponges, bivalves, snails, and other animals. I'm actually just going to move that to 6 because I have plenty of room. And so I'm going to put microalgae, I'm going to put sponges, and maybe I'll put snails. If you want to put them all, you can, or you can just say some of the things that they eat. And finally, starfish are beautiful creatures often found in stories from around the world. You can put starfish, beautiful creatures. You can include the part about the stories, whatever you would want to use to end that. But one thing I want you to notice is that everything we've said about the starfish has come from this, what is this called? From this source document. And so everything, we're not pulling anything from our head. We don't say that, oh, I found a starfish on the beach last summer and it wriggled away from me. You're not including any of that at this point. That's another unit where you get to pull facts from your head. For this one, it is fact-based from the source document. And this is called Keyword Outlining Unit 1. So once you have the keyword outline, what you're going to do after that is completely get rid of this or hide it. Just put it in your notebook. But you don't want to look at this anymore, or you want to fold it over so you only see the keyword, because we don't want you to plagiarize. And that's a big word, but plagiarism means that you are taking someone else's work and writing it word for word. And we don't want you to do that. So IEW writing helps discourage you from plagiarizing, because you do your keyword outline, then you put your sources away and you write out of your own head. Now sometimes you get things wrong. I would prefer that you get things wrong than plagiarizing someone else's work. And we take that very seriously at FEC. If you plagiarize, if you take someone's work word for word, even in a small section, a sentence or two or a paragraph, and you do not list the source, and your teachers will tell you how to do that, then we're going to call it plagiarism, and you may have to write an essay about plagiarism, or there may be some other discipline that is brought your way. So we want the writing to be yours only, but you can use what other people have written for information. You just have to then rewrite it not the same way that they did. So either fold, I would encourage you, I guess for this, the easiest way is just to fold it over right in the middle, and you would then write your source. Now you're not even going to be writing from this, so it's not an issue. You will be writing from the next one when we get to that. So let me just mention this briefly. Then I'm going to turn this off, and then there will be a second video, even shorter, that's talking about the dress-ups. But your homework for this next week is to look at this next source document called Seahorses. Again, you're going to read through it once, then you're going to read through it a second time and create your keyword outline. I didn't give you an outline to work from. You're just going to use your notebook paper, or you can use the back of your paper, whichever is easiest for you. Once you've created that keyword outline, you should send me both outlines, seahorses and starfish, and I'll be able to take a look at them and give you some feedback. So if you use too many pictures or symbols, I'm going to tell you that. If you don't use enough symbols or you've got way too many words on your lines, I'm going to tell you that. But I'll give you a little feedback as you get started. So your homework is to complete the seahorses and send that back to me. And then once you have done your seahorses document, then I want you to watch the next video about dress ups. So until next time.